Good evening, I'm Magda Gebrselassie. Well, we begin tonight with developing news from Scarborough. 2 people are dead after what police say was an impaired driving crash. Emergency crews are on the scene in the area of Markham Road and Progress Avenue. Paramedics say 3 pedestrians were struck at around 6:30. They were all rushed to hospital. 2 have since died. A 3rd person, a man, is seriously injured. The driver of the car involved was arrested, and police say his blood alcohol level was over the legal limit. Toronto police remain at the scene of a suspicious death. A woman found with serious injuries this afternoon died in hospital. As Kelda Ewan reports, 1 man is now in custody, but police say there are still important questions that need answers.
For residents in this quiet neighborhood at Harbord and Brunswick, it's not a scene they're used to.
We knew something must have been going on because there's so many cop cars that were coming, so it must be something like we left, we come back, we went to Eaton Center, we come back, cops are still here, we're like, something's going on, and then
what happened more horrifying than Alexa Mamalidi could have imagined. The alleged assault happened inside this house a few doors down from her. Kirill Ilinsky is a tenant there. He says all the rooms are rented out. He was sleeping when another tenant, a man, came to see him.
He knocked on my doors, and after that, I went to his room, and I found the lady, right, covered in blood, pretty much.
Ilinsky says the victim had been visiting the man.
She was barely breathing, hardly breathing. I mean, like this. So and I said all right, so you have to call 911 right away.
Police were called at around 2:30 in the afternoon. The woman was rushed to hospital with serious injuries, where she later died. The man was arrested.
He was all shaking, scared.
No charges have been laid, and homicide investigators haven't been called in. Right now, police are just treating the death as suspicious. They tell me they are still trying to figure out exactly how the victim got her injuries.
it's so close to home. It's weird.
Police have not released the name of the victim. Kelda Ewan, CBC News, Toronto.
Tonight is the first night of Hanukkah. And this year, a synagogue in Toronto is celebrating the Festival of Lights with an unexpected gift, one that's made an incredible journey. The CBC's Ellen Morrow has the story.
Wow. 70 years to meet you.
Right. A first meeting of 2 men with a connection spanning decades and continents. A story almost too fortuitous to believe, even for them.
When you first called me, right, I thought you were selling me a timeshare. Yeah. I was like, who is this guy?
Instead, a gift of history, these silver candlesticks. Harold Irby's father was entrusted by his Jewish neighbors in Jasło, Poland, to protect them from the Nazis.
And can you imagine the hardship that person must have felt? Said, here, you hold on to these. And my father said, listen, I believe you, you have to trust me. I'll keep them safe.
I don't know if he knew deep down, but I kind of feel he knew that someday it would find its right home.
The candlesticks were rescued from this synagogue in Jasło, ravaged by Hitler's forces in 1939. Over the years, they were brought to Germany, then Italy, crossing the Atlantic to Halifax before arriving in Vancouver, where the Irby family eventually settled.
If they could speak the stories that these candlesticks would say.
In the spring, Irby decided to find a new home for them back in the Jewish community.
I Googled Jasło Synagogue, and I said, this is destroyed. I searched further down, and they built the replica of this Jasło Synagogue in Toronto. I mean, I was speechless.
And this is a replica of the Ark in Jasło.
Rabbi Eli Carfunkel emulated the Jasło Synagogue to honor the countless temples destroyed in the small towns of Europe.
I mean, when you got the call from Harold, what did you think?
So when he tells me that we have candlesticks, I couldn't believe it.
And when they arrived,
I started to cry. I mean, here is the one synagogue from the thousands of synagogues that we could have chosen, and now we have candlesticks from Jasło.
And a lifelong bond.
It is a great honor now to call up my newest BFF.
Irby traveling across the country for a ceremony celebrating his family.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. My father thanks you, if you could.
People watching the story, what do you want them to take away from this journey of these candlesticks?
We should treasure these things, that we should respect each other and believe in each other.
We need to focus on the goodness of people. If you continue the path of goodness, you will light up very dark places.
And now, 80 years later, those candlesticks again giving light in a synagogue. A father's vow to keep them safe, honored by his family. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, there are many Hanukkah celebrations taking place right across the GTA, including one at the North Thornhill Community Center.
Should never be satisfied. We always have to add a little bit more, a little bit light. No matter how dark it may be, a little bit of light pushes away a lot of darkness.
The event kicks off 8 days of festivities with a 9-foot menorah that took center stage this afternoon. Now, dozens of people took part in the activities, enjoying latkes, donuts, and live performances. This year's menorah will be dressed in donated mittens, hats, socks, and scarves that will be given to those in need across the GTA. Well, gift giving and holiday dinners are traditions, but not ones that everyone can afford. That's where Center 55 comes in. The community center in the East End is making sure that less fortunate families don't miss out by handing out nearly 1,000 holiday hampers. Natalie Nanowski has the details.
We've got bread, we've got veggies, we've got apples.
And then there's the choice of a turkey or ham, basically a full Christmas dinner.
You don't realize there's so many families out there in need and what this means to them and to their children.
Over the course of 4 days, Center 55 has been collecting and sorting food, along with presents for children.
I usually help out in the packing of the toys earlier in the week.
Once the perfect Christmas package is put together, volunteers, including entire families, come by and load the boxes into trucks. They'll then be driven directly to people's doors.
It's just fun to do something hands-on, bring them out here and get them to actually do something to help.
It's like a family tradition as well. It's very nice to become part of this community and help other people, and you feel like you're doing something very good and just supporting the people around you.
It takes hundreds of hands to get the parcels ready for the 1,000 or so Toronto families. They signed up for the deliveries in November. They include newcomers to the city and seniors who are alone for the holidays.
I think it's important, once you recognize that privilege, to be able to give back and assist people, especially this time of year.
The center has been doing this for almost 40 years, and still the reactions they get when the parcels are delivered are always the biggest reward.
Pride, they give us lovely Christmas cards saying how much it means to them. They wouldn't have a Christmas without this.
Natalie Nanowski, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, this holiday season is really warming things up, especially when it comes to the temperature. Amanda Weldon joins us live with the first look at the weather. So what is going on?
You are right about that. I'm sitting in the newsroom right now looking at my director, Wayne, saying, Wayne, I am hot. It is hot outside. Are you enjoying the warmer temperatures this time of year?
I kind of like it, I have to admit.
Okay, well, it does mean something for our white Christmas, so I will tell you that maybe when I come back with you later. But getting into what's happening right now, milder air pushing on in. Of course, you feel it, but it is good news when you're going out and seeing all these good deeds being done. Of course, the sunshine helps with that. Current conditions, though, throughout the overnight hours, we still are in those low single digits. Some areas like Peterborough, just below that freezing mark. But Monday morning, we'll wake up 2 degrees, still going to feel like -3. However, Monday afternoon, this is the best news. I still have all of my Christmas shopping to do. Monday afternoon, 8 degrees, feels like 6. I know it's a little bit late, don't judge me too much. Monday evening, 2 degrees, -2 is what it will feel like. So this is our satellite radar, what we've got going on right now. It's a bit of a snooze fest, which is okay, especially when you're bringing all those bags in. But that temperature flow, what's going on and why is it so mild? We've got that southerly flow mixing in with a westerly flow that's going to change up in the next few days. And a lot of Pacific air is actually crossing the country. So the way that it crossed the country, it's continuing to be mild. So around that Golden Horseshoe, we are in that 8 degrees, and then even down towards the southwestern corner, breaking the double digits, we get a cold front crossing on through. It slices our temperatures just a little bit, but not really much. So for the next few days, this is the note. If you're a last-minute shopper like me, you have the perfect conditions to get around, scurry, and find that far parking spot.
All right, thanks, Amanda.
No problem.
The Toronto Raptors pulled off their greatest comeback tonight. The team looked like they were heading for their worst loss of the season before they turned it all around.
110-107, do not foul. Porzingis lets it go. The greatest comeback in franchise history.
The Raptors were down by 30 points against the Dallas Mavericks in the third quarter before roaring back to win the game 110-107. Kyle Lowry scored 20 of his 32 points to lead the team in a thrilling fourth quarter run. This is the largest comeback win in the NBA in more than 10 years. It's also the Raptors' 5th win in a row. A holiday miracle for a student who lost all hope of being able to see his family. This after he lost his passport. More on that after the break. Well, it could be the script for a holiday movie, but it was a real-life drama in Newfoundland for a student from Zimbabwe. He lost his passport, and home for Christmas looked like just a dream until yesterday when the phone rang. The CBC's Talia Ricci has the story.
I'm so excited, because I never saw this day coming.
It's the day Leonard Mawara will be reunited with his passport and student visa after about 2 weeks of thinking they were gone for good.
Are you April?
Oh, yes!
Oh, thank you so much.
April Day is the woman who found it. She bought the bag for a Christmas gift after Mawara had returned it to Winners. When she went to wrap it,
So I was like opening up the bag and I was like looking at it. And then I opened it up and I was like, oh my God, that's the guy on TV. This is the guy that's looking for his passport. And I was like shaking and crying.
Day had seen Mawara's story in the news.
I was lying in bed and I was looking at it and I was saying, oh my God, that poor guy, like, is he gonna be able to get home to his family? And I was like reading through some of the article, but I never read enough to see the picture of the bag.
It's been a stressful time for the student at St. John's Memorial University. He said he couldn't eat or sleep. He tore apart his basement apartment looking for the passport.
But I couldn't find it. So now I was just home, hopeless, just thinking, I'm just gonna be in St. John's like the whole Christmas.
Mawara was supposed to go home to see his family for the holidays and to mourn the recent death of his younger brother. He was told he could get to Zimbabwe with emergency travel documents, but he needed his student visa to return to Canada.
I never thought I would even receive these documents ever again. Remember, I would be getting a new passport.
Now Mawara is free to travel, but he'd already canceled his flight. Today, Day made him a generous offer.
I'm going to provide Leonard with a ticket so that he can return home to his family and enjoy his Christmas.
A flight home from a stranger he now calls a friend.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Okay.
Give me a hug. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
The U.S. Congress is on break for Christmas, but impeachment news is still making headlines. Republicans are accusing Democrats of deliberately stalling the next stage of the impeachment process. This while newly released documents show the White House told the Pentagon to freeze aid to the Ukraine within 2 hours of the infamous July call. Jacqueline Hansen has the details.
In front of a crowd of pro-Trump students, Donald Trump isn't taking a break from the stage or his message.
There was no crime. In fact, there's no impeachment. Their own lawyer said there's no impeachment. What are we doing here? The world is watching.
Watching and reading new documents. Hundreds of released emails shed light on interactions by White House officials before and after Trump's July call with the president of Ukraine. One email shows Trump started asking about military aid to Ukraine in June. Then a written request by a senior White House official to hold off on funds and to keep the request quiet due to its sensitive nature, sent July 25th, less than 2 hours after that now infamous call.
This email is explosive.
The top Democrat in the Senate wants to know more.
A top administration official, one that we requested, is saying, stop the aid 91 minutes after Trump called Zelensky and said, keep it hush-hush. What more do you need to request a witness?
It's still unclear if Trump's impeachment trial in the Republican-controlled Senate will have any witnesses. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi left for the holidays without sending the articles of impeachment to the Senate, saying she's waiting to learn more about what the trial will look like, a strategy defended today by Democrats.
She's just trying to say, hey, let's not make this a circus. A partisan circus.
No, I think.
But Republicans ridiculed the holdup.
The American people were tired of the sham.
And brushed off the latest emails.
There was a delay. There's nothing new in these emails about the timing, truly, Chuck. There was a lot of emails and back and forth exchanges about timing of this. The aid was released.
Whether or not the emails will be used as evidence in the impeachment process is unclear, but today's dispute is just the latest to divide the two parties that are already so far apart. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Washington.
Documents from Global Affairs reveals a Canadian offer to assist the Jamal Khashoggi investigation that was rebuffed. Khashoggi, a journalist and critic of Saudi Arabia's rulers, disappeared at the country's Istanbul consulate last year. Soon after, Chrystia Freeland told Turkey that Canada should send investigators. No official took up the offer. Khashoggi's remains were never found. A UN report concluded he was killed and that Saudi Arabia was responsible. Well, after the break, sports is for everyone. A youth center in Milton is working to get kids from immigrant families in on the games. Stay with us. A nonprofit youth sports league in the GTA is on a mission to give more kids a chance to play soccer and basketball. The Milton Youth Recreation Center caters to immigrant children between the ages of 8 and 17. And they're all pumped up for this year's basketball season. Our Angelina King was there for a special season opener.
Number 23, Hardy.
For a moment, these kids were treated like NBA stars, having their names called, high-fiving fans, even being part of a dunk competition. Oh! It's how Milton Youth Recreation Center, or MyRec, kicked off this year's basketball season.
It's fun because I get to meet new people every time.
MyRec was created to make sports more accessible for immigrant families. Organizers say fees are about half the cost of other leagues. This year there are 20 teams and 200 players. Many of them are Muslim, but all religions and backgrounds are welcome. Executive Director Imran Merchant.
It's just fantastic to see how, not only diverse it is, but how close everyone is.
This is the first year there's an all-girls league. 40 players registered, and organizers say it's important that everybody feels welcome to get off of the bleachers and onto the court.
We want to pull our girls in and show them they're just as good and they can represent just as well, and come out and have fun and build that resiliency and learn about the teamwork and learn those talents and skills that it takes to be a good basketball player.
It's my escape way. It's a way to keep fit. It's a way to just play, hang out, and it's a great thing to do with friends, just a great activity.
Coaches say basketball aside, they want the players to learn about teamwork, inclusivity, and mental health. MyRec includes a mental health component, creating a safe space for everyone to discuss issues.
There's a lot more challenges out there, a lot more different variables to deal with, especially in terms of youth. Sports is an outlet. It's a way to kind of come out and focus and be part of something greater.
Basketball season wraps up in April. MyRec soccer program begins in June. Angelina King, CBC News, Milton.
The iconic Honest Ed's may be gone, but a heartwarming holiday tradition started at the store lives on.
We got turkeys!
It was the annual turkey giveaway on Bloor today. People lined up from 9 a.m. to grab the holiday favorite. But it wasn't an uneventful wait. Carolers were there to entertain the crowd. It's all thanks to a group of local businesses who keep the tradition going.
Oh, I just skim just grabbing pasta and canned soup and just putting it on the table over there, and then people grabbing it and putting it into different boxes and sorting them. So it's very busy. You're really never stopping to do anything.
Lots of very busy helping hands at the Daily Bread Food Bank today. Now, this weekend is the charity's largest sorting event. Around 1,000 volunteers showed up to help package all of the donations. Now, including those from CBC's Sounds of the Season fundraising. As of Friday, you've helped CBC Toronto raise almost $700,000 for the Daily Bread Food Bank. Now, you've also helped by raising almost 16,000 pounds of food. That is incredible. Thank you so much for all that you've donated. And if you haven't donated yet, don't worry, you still can. You can either donate online at cbc.ca/sots, or you can drop off canned goods here at the Broadcast Center. We'll collect donations until the end of the month. Okay, a beautiful day today with above zero temperatures, and Torontonians were out there taking it all in. Many strapped on their skates and hit the ice at the Bentway, the trail under the Gardiner Expressway. Some went solo, some had a little help, and for a while today, some even skated alongside a celebrity.
Carlton, can you give us any insider information on the Leafs this season?
Carlton knows everything.
And says nothing.
And says nothing, exactly. That's the best way to be.
And the crowds didn't just gather at rinks. From beaches to trails, the city was brimming with activity. Amanda Weldon is back with a look at the weather for the rest of the week. Of course, what people are wondering is, are we going to get any snow on Christmas?
What do you think? Would you want a white Christmas, or are you digging this temperature? I know I asked you earlier if you like the warmth.
I like the warmth, but a little bit of snow on Christmas would be nice.
I wish I could deliver. You know what? We always get the good news when it's warmth, right? It's hard to be a weather person at an event. The good news here, though, even if we're not going to get the white Christmas we're looking for in Toronto and the GTA, we do have that polar vortex held towards the north, which means the cold is staying there at least. So what's going on right now for the south? A bit of a long-range look. We are having high pressure in place, which means clear days, clear skies, clear nights, not much in terms of a shortwave trough or anything like that. But the way that history shows, across the country, we have a very different perception of getting a white Christmas. On the west coast, of course, 11% chance for Vancouver, up well in the north, 100% chance. But for the GTA, history shows 50% chance. Now, this isn't the forecast. This is now a quick look at what that forecast will be. As for the Golden Horseshoe and Toronto, we actually have that 0% chance this year, and it's because our temperatures are so much higher than the seasonal mark. The Atlantic getting it, but the West as well, seeing that 100% chance. Quickly, before I leave you, I'm going to show you our long-range forecast for Toronto. The next shot of showers will likely be into Saturday and the weekend.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Well, that's our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. We will leave you with some more pics of Torontonians enjoying the city on this warm day to hopefully bring some warmth into your week. You can stay caught up on news anytime on our website. Have a great night.